Hey guys, Mr. T here again for my next video. So we are down to number 13 of favorite Pokemon type, which is my sixth least favorite Pokemon type. So we released this video all together with number 14 and 15, so go check those out if you haven't seen them already. I don't want to spoil what they are. But yeah. So this type, I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for this one, like I am for my 15th video, because I know this is a lot of people's favorite or even top 2 or top 3 favorite type. And if you've been watching these videos, you're probably thinking, oh my God, how did he put this type above some of those other ones? And honestly, I've never been a fan of this type. And I think it's because, I'm just not an outdoors kind of person. I'm the type where I'd rather have civilization than go out in the middle of the wilderness. So it sounds dumb, but I think that had a lot to do with it. Plus, on top of that, I kind of think some of the Pokemon in this type are kind of just garbage. They're just flowers and stuff, I know I'm probably making some people really angry, especially if you figured it out. But my 13th favorite type, if you haven't figured it out already, is the grass type. Now, I know you're probably thinking, oh my God, grass is my favorite. You're probably thinking of Pokemon like Bulbasaur and stuff. You're probably going back to the nostalgia of Pokemon like Weeping Bell with James and the original anime and all that stuff. But quite honestly, I'm not a fan of grass. I'm also technically allergic to it. So I've just never been a fan of grass, even in reality. I mean, you're probably thinking, oh my God, he's a typical gamer. He doesn't go and touch grass. But it's just, this type has always been lackluster to me. It's like, whoop-de-doo, you can shoot a piece of vine at someone, or you can throw a leaf at someone. Like, who cares? Several of my favorite types can obliterate grass. So it's like, I've never been a fan. Plus, honestly, there's only been a handful of grass starter Pokemon that I've genuinely liked. So yeah. So now to get into it. So quick refresh of the rules. I'm going to show you 4 Pokemon, my favorite pure type, my favorite primary type grass, my favorite secondary type grass, and then my least favorite grass type. I think the general public might not hate me for my least favorite, although I don't know, because I've seen some really weird hot takes on some Pokemon, especially recently. If you know, you know. But yeah, hopefully this is one where you can kind of agree or at least be neutral about it. So my favorite grass type, now my favorite grass type, and this one was actually kind of hard. There were many choices that I was bouncing around in my head. And, grass as a whole I don't like, but it does have a few amazing Pokemon. And I ultimately came down to Sceptile as my favorite pure grass. Sceptile is actually on my all-star team. He's usually up there as one of my top 6. And I still prefer Blaziken over Sceptile, but this is probably the one Pokemon game where the grass and fire type to me are super close. Like, I'm still picking Blaziken over Sceptile, but Sceptile is like right behind Blaziken. They are super close. Sceptile is an amazing Pokemon. His Mega Evolution is on point. And like I said, he is on my all-star team of 6. And maybe one day I'll make a video showing you guys what that 6 is for me. But yeah, Sceptile is definitely up there as one of my all-time favorites. Easily a top 10 Pokemon for me. I love Sceptile. My next Pokemon where grass is the primary type, I'm telling you, I bounced around with this one a lot. My first pick was Bulbasaur just for the nostalgia aspect, and then I thought, I'm going to do it for fan service because I don't want people to hate me. But honestly, I'm not a fan of Bulbasaur. I know there's a lot of those people in the comments that are probably going to kill me right now, but Bulbasaur to me is kind of a mid Pokemon, which is funny because it's my son's favorite Pokemon. Then I bounced around a bit to a few other choices. Then I'm like, okay, I love Arizona. Maybe I'll pick the Tumbleweed from Paldea. And then I'm like, no, that's stupid. So I finally was like, you know what? After really thinking about it, my favorite primary grass type would probably have to be Decidueye. I was actually talking to some people the other day, and I'm like, for the longest time, I called it Decidueye when I first played the game. Oh, specifically the Hisuian version, by the way, just throwing that out there. But yeah, Decidueye, he looks cool. Again, this is the Hisuian version. The regular version is okay. He's not horrible, but he's eh. But I like the Hisuian version. I like what they did to him. They gave him the grass fighting type. They made him look just cool with like the whole samurai vibe. going. And honestly, I really liked Legends Arceus. Legends Arceus is probably my absolute favorite Pokemon game. Everything they did in Legends Arceus, from mechanics wise, the way the open world was, I loved it. And don't get me wrong, I think Scarlet and Violet are phenomenal games, and I loved the open world in Scarlet and Violet. I wish they would have just taken Legends Arceus's gameplay and put it into Scarlet and Violet. Would have been the greatest game of all time, but I digress. But yeah, Hisuian Decidueye, this guy is awesome. He's got that, like I said, he's got the samurai look. I love Japanese culture. It's one of my more favorite ones, and it's just a cool all-around idea. Yeah, so now my next favorite, my favorite secondary grass type, and this one was actually super easy. This one has always been one of my more favorite Pokemon. It's one of those where you don't put him on a top 10 list, but he's always in the back of your mind. Like, you always know of this Pokemon, and this Pokemon always pops up, and that would have to be Saucebuck. I love the deer type vibe with him, and I really like his winter form, which is kind of weird because I actually hate winter. It's my least favorite season. I'm a summer guy. I mean, again, I live in Arizona. 120-degree weather is like nice to me, but I love the design of this Pokemon. I also really liked how Saucebuck and Deerling changed form depending on what time of the year it was. That was the first time we saw something like that. Like, we've seen, Pokemon where they've changed form because of the time of day. You can only catch certain Pokemon at night or day or whatever, or midday or whatever. We've seen all that, but then we have Saucebuck and Deerling, and it actually changes because of the seasons. So I thought that was an awesome gimmick. And then in Paldea, I thought it was cool because instead of changing the season and having to wait for the different seasons or change your game's clock, they actually put different Pokemon in different regions. So when you're up in the mountains, you can get the winter form. When you're down in the valleys, you can get the more spring or summer forms. And I just think it's a cool looking Pokemon. And I think Deerling is a really solid Pokemon too. Now, my least favorite Pokemon for the grass type would probably have to be Carnivine. I don't mind the fly-eating plants and stuff like that. I just think Carnivine kind of looks dumb, honestly. I don't like his design. I'm not a fan of the way he looks. Plus, honestly, in the games, I was trying to complete the national decks and of Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, and it's dumb because Carnivine can only be caught by accident, more or less, if you look through the binoculars, on a specific time, on a specific date in the Safari Zone. And if you miss it, you got to wait like forever to reset it, right? So it's annoying to catch. It's not that good looking. It's kind of crap in battle. I'm just not a fan. So yeah. So there's my grass type Pokemon. That's number 13 for me. Stick around. We're going to have number 12 coming pretty soon. And yeah, hope you like the list. See you later.